Hi guys, happy Wednesday. So today I'm here with Melissa from Mindful Kids. I'm super excited about this because I love the work that you are doing. So this is going to be part of my back to school series, or just education around kids' health, which I'm super passionate about.
Excellent.
As I adore my little ones, and in my practice I end up seeing a lot of children and helping parents understand their children or get more connected with them or work to understand them on just a different level. So today I'm super excited that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
And I just want to go into what it is that you do. So talk a little bit about your program and how it came to be.
Sure. My program or business is called Mindful Kids Stratford.
Mm-hmm.
So I empower and help with emotions and positivity and, all under that lovely umbrella of mindfulness to kids and schools and sports organizations and teenagers in and around the Stratford and area.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How did the birth of this program come to be? So what did you do prior to?
My background is in education, so
Mm-hmm.
I was an educational assistant between both boards for 20 years. And in that time, there's that lovely balance of academics as well as, kind of emotional awareness. It's a busy world that kids live in this day and age. And I saw a need, for, other ways to help kids find their calm and really learn what it is. I have two boys, elementary age, at home too, and I'm always looking for ways to kind of help balance that out as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about some of the programs that you have currently.
Sure. The first program I have upcoming is called Mindful Kids Series 1,
Mm-hmm.
and that is 5 weeks, 5 mindful tools in 50-minute sessions for a max group of 5. So I like to keep the ratio really small.
Mm-hmm.
It's for children ages 5 to 10.
Yep.
And they walk away with practices and mindful tools and activities that they can input in their everyday life to help find their calm and start to notice those big feelings, I like to call them, that kids, kind of navigate in this busy world that we live in today. And the same thing runs for teens and tweens, so kids ages 10 and up into those teenage years. Same thing. It's the exact same thing, different night, different connections, because they're obviously at a different point in their life, and where those tools, stress relief and relaxation, come very much in handy for their busy time in their life too.
That's amazing. So with your program, how do you find, are kids receptive of it, or what sort of benefits does it have for them?
Mindfulness has lots of benefits, no matter what the age range of the children are. So first big one is self-regulation,
Yeah.
Self-awareness, body awareness. Oh gosh, there is so many. Focus, concentration, gratitude, and kindness come from it too, because we learned that it's, mindfulness is your own path, at your own time, on your own journey. So even though we're learning it as a group, whether it's the 5 of us or a classroom setting or a PA day workshop or one-to-one sessions, it's your own, and you get an A+ every time you try it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you find the kids are very receptive to incorporating the tools into their day-to-day, or some of the parents are even receptive to understanding and helping them navigate the mindfulness as well?
Absolutely. In whatever branch kids and teens come to me to learn mindfulness, there's always challenges. I don't call it homework. I like to call it challenges. To keep practicing those tools that they learned with me. So there's a specific time that I always say, this is a great time to practice it every day, because then you're training that brain, you're creating different pathways in your mind. It's just a muscle like any other muscle you use, whether you're running around at school or playing a specific sport, and we have to train this one too. And an easy way to do that is with mindfulness. So if you can find a time every day that works, perfect, because the more you kind of train that brain, moments of higher stress in children's lives, wherever they are, the brain's going to know what to do because it has practiced.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah.
With you, is it something that you've always incorporated with your children?
Good question. We have been working on it as a family. My husband and I first started maybe 4 years ago, getting into mindfulness, and our own journeys. And obviously, naturally, what came with that is, adding the kid component into it as well. So, we kind of, we call them mindful moments. It doesn't make kids perfect, but it just helps give them tools for their everyday life. So they can become more aware.
Mm-hmm.
So we are doing that at home all the time as well.
I know, like, that's something I definitely try to practice with my nieces and nephews
Mm-hmm.
wherever they are under their development, because
Yeah.
obviously some of them aren't going to understand if they're a 1-year-old.
Absolutely.
But I find just taking that moment to break something down for them and say, it's the story that you're telling yourself, or we can choose to be kind today, or it really helps them understand. And sometimes you think that they're not listening to you.
It's true.
And then a week later they'll bust out being like, Auntie said,
Exactly.
or they'll be like, oh, I can be kind today, or
Mm-hmm.
they'll be like, oh, you know what, I don't actually listen very well. And then in those moments you're very caught, you're like, what is happening?
Exactly.
But they're very receptive to the things that you incorporate into their lives, and it's just that practice or keeping up with it, I find, or just helping them to understand you are very powerful in your knowing and your understanding, and you can change this moment, or you can feel out those emotions, because sometimes I think with some of my clients and their children, we don't always give the child the permission to feel the emotion or what they're experiencing in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And for the child to understand, it's okay for you to be angry, and it's okay for you to be sad, and let's feel that out and get it out, and then go back and kind of carry on and maybe give forgiveness or do whatever you need in those moments, can be very powerful.
Very much. I always say practicing in moments of calm, because it's not going to help in the moment of when they're having a big feeling. Let's pull out this tool. The key is to practice in moments of calm, changing those reactions, into meaningful responses. And I love what you said about emotional awareness, because sometimes kids don't even know what those feelings are. So there's a lot of work on teaching kids that there are no good feelings and there are no bad feelings. They're all feelings, and they're okay to feel. They may feel huge, they may feel medium, as some of them describe it, or they may feel little and sticky, and that's okay. It's all about paying attention to the knowing it, becoming aware of it, and what your top 5 emotions are, and they're different for every child. And then we teach them to name it to tame it, which is always a fun one to learn.
That's amazing. So going back to your household too, since you incorporated a lot of these tools in your house, how do you find parenting now?
Parenting?
I know it's always
there's so much information out there about parenting, but in kind of mindful terms, we have an established kind of mindful practice in our house. Just starting this school year, we used to do it at bedtime, before bed, but I quickly became aware that we are all morning people, all 4 of us in our household. So it works better for us to do it. They are early risers. There is lots of time in the morning for us, so we actually practice our mindful tools as a group of 3 of us, or if my husband has to go, he goes, and then the 3 of us will just practice those mindful tools to kind of set our day that way. That works for us. With that being said, the end of the day, part of that bedtime routine, works for others, and we have tried that in the past as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you find that when they're starting their day off like this, they kind of go into school a little bit calmer? Because I know with some children, they get that anxiety of almost what to, the anticipation of what's going to happen, or do you find it just helps bring them more in their bodies and a better, clear way to go into school for that day?
Absolutely. I always say it kind of plops them into the right here, right now, which, the adults of the world call it the present moment. I like to call it the right here, right now. And that, what you said was exactly right. Their minds like to wander. They like to wander to things that have maybe already happened in the past, that it's tricky to let go. And, our minds are very good about thinking about things happening in a specific way in the future. So that practice in the morning of just plopping them back in the present moment, giving them that mindful moment, resets them, or sets them up for, hopefully a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all so guilty of that. Just being like, okay, well, what's going to happen in the future? Or like, I want to plan the future, and it's cultivating more of that right here.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
It's not just with the children, it's with everyone, or dwelling on things of the past and like worrying about that, or we're living in more of a fear state.
Yeah.
We all, I feel, are prey to that.
It's very good. Yeah, you're very true. When I talk to parents, I often say, I talk about like that morning hustle.
Yeah.
To get out the door,
Yes.
wherever, however many of your family going like kind of 50 maybe different ways. And, just, stopping at that door before you open the door to go outside, and you just stop and notice where you are. Take a couple breaths to put you back into the present moment, and then off you go in your day. And just incorporating that in your everyday life, sitting at your desk at the office, and you got to get to a meeting, and like you just noticing where your mind is, bringing it back, having a mindful moment, and then moving on to the busy world that it is today.
Yeah. Well, because I also feel like there's really no right or wrong way to parent in some regards, and like it's just a huge adventure, and sometimes the adventure can be very like scary and daunting, and then sometimes it can be like a lot of fun. I use adventure like when I talk to a lot of parents, trying to understand like this is an experience, but that's a great way to just have that moment to recenter before you go on with your day, because it can be very chaotic, and if you let yourself go with that energy, you're also taking that energy into like all of the avenues of your day. So that's super important for parents to even just be like, okay, like I have done, they are off, we are good, centered, and now I can start my day.
It's very true. It's all about those mindful moments, kind of creating that foundation. And slowly but surely, it builds a foundation of mindfulness that is positive and helpful.
That's amazing.
Today.
I love it. So you have some tools here.
I do.
Do you want to talk about some of these things and how you use them in your practice?
Sure. So the first one is the singing bowl. I also call it a bell and sometimes a gong. Any three terms will come out of my mouth, and the kids know that. And we work on mindful listening. So this is the first foundational block that kids come to see me. Anytime kids come to see me in any capacity, they're going to learn one of the 3 foundational blocks with tools underneath it, and that one is for mindful listening, for intentional hearing. This guy is the breathing ball. You might have seen it out and about. And that just teaches a big belly breath. So, when you take a big breath in, your tummy should get nice and big like the ball, and then on your breath out, your tummy should lower or get smaller. And that teaches nice, slow breaths, because kid breaths look like this these days.
I think parents' breaths sometimes look like that too.
We're working on that. So mindful breathing is the next foundational block, and there's lots of tools underneath that, but that's a great visual one that kids like to use. The third one is mindful emotions and learning big feelings. So this is a mind jar. I'm not sure if you can see it too well, but it's kind of calm and clear right now, just like when we practice mindful tools. This is the goal for our mind, but our minds often look like this.
That's so true.
All day, every day, even when we're sleeping. So learning these mindful tools, just like our mind, that glitter is eventually going to settle, and that's finding our calm and our clear, changing those reactions that kids and adults have in our everyday lives and changing them into responses, is the third foundational block. The other 2 that I have are kind of things we make at Kids PA Day workshops. So those are 2 hours long, where we learn a mindful tool, and then they make and take a creation to use right at home. you know, whether they set up a mindful corner in their bedroom or whether it's a spot in the house where the whole family can use it. One of them is a breathing bracelet. So kids get to design and make their own, and they kind of learn the background of that and get to take it with them. And this one is just, I call it a mindful eye pillow. So they create their own mixture that goes in here, along with some, you know, essential oils, using their sense of smell that they find calming and relaxing. And then they learn to do a couple exercises. They can either place it on their forehead or right over their eyes. I know a couple kids were using this right up until the beginning of school, when they were going to sleep with those big feelings that were coming before the school year, and that one is great for that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love all the tools that you bring in too, because I think we were talking before too, that it's so important to come at it from like a variety of angles, and people just like learn differently. And with like the ball, you were definitely able to see like what that big belly breath is, because I think even some adults are very like and they're like, what? Like, this is how I just breathe. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And I'm like, no, let's just slow it down.
And it's great because our body just does it for us, which is fantastic. But noticing it and paying attention to it and using it in a positive way is fabulous. And some kids they need to hold these tools. They need to feel them and visually see them. And after they practice kind of with these guys, they eventually turn it into a secret superpower, and they can use it wherever they are in their life, whether they're at school, home, bus, sports, activities, you name it. So it's quite a building block for any child wherever they're at.
Yeah, that's so amazing. With the camps that you have, or the series that you have, is there some children that you find gravitate more towards this or would benefit more from it, say like an ADD, ADHD, or do you find like it's just an everyone kind of thing?
I like to say all kids can benefit from this in their own way. Absolutely. You're going to find some who, you know, gravitate more towards the mindful listening tools, and you know, that's their tool that they continually and consistently pull out to use. You're going to find some kids who gravitate more towards the mindful breathing ones, and then you're going to have lots of kids gravitate toward this mind jar. It's the big one on Pinterest. There's lots of cool recipes to kind of make it. And, you know, I kind of take it to the next level and teach, you know, the behindings of it and kind of how that works. So every kid creates their own mindful toolbox or mindful backpack where they put these tools into it. You know, and it might be a certain time of year where, you know, one of them's called Drop It Down the Hole. Maybe that one, you know, Melissa, I really use this one, you know, this time of year for this thing. And then for a different time of year, when another big feeling or situation comes up, they gravitate towards a different one. So the variety is endless for kids, and kids, they know what they need. Yeah. They may not say it, or it may come out in a different way, but they know what to need. And when they have these positive tools to kind of help them in a positive way to navigate stuff, it can be a game changer.
I love that. I often will teach my clients tools, and I always say, like, this is something you can put in your toolbox. So you can try it on, you can incorporate it into your life, or at least it's just there. And then sometimes they pull it out and they give that tool to something else. It's something that like all of my healers have done. It's so important, and you're teaching them at such a young age, like, you have all of these tools at your disposal that you can take out, try on, see how it feels, or like pick out in the moment to help understand life and their reactions and emotions. I think that's really important.
They'll always be there. They'll always be with them. You know, they may get a little dusty at times depending on what age they are and when they learn them, but you know, they will always be there to use. And when the kids can connect it to whatever works for them in their everyday life, yeah, it's pretty cool to see.
That's amazing. So talk a little bit about, you just launched a series. So what kind of up and coming stuff does your business have coming up for anyone who's interested in partaking?
Okay, so we're in the fall season. I kind of offer stuff in blocks. So there's a fall block, there's a winter block after Christmas holidays that goes to March break, and then the spring block is from after March break to the end of the school year. Okay. So in fall, right now registration is open for Mindful Kids Series 1. There are 2 spots left in that, and it begins next week. So those are for
awesome.
kids for ages 5 to 10. If their parents are looking, for some positive ways to, input mindfulness into their lives. Same with Mindful Teens and Tweens, Series 1. 2 slots left in that one as well. That starts next week. And, for that age group, it's more about relaxation and stress relief for the age that they're at. So those guys start next week. Mindful Kid PA Day workshops are up and going. We had an early PA Day this year. It was just this past Friday.
Yeah,
so,
I was like, we just got the kids off to school and now there's a PA what?
It's true. I loved it because I was able to do Mindful Nature. So a group of us were, it was the perfect time of year to kind of sneak in some of those last days of niceness. So we did Mindful Nature. The next one coming up for Stratford is gratitude and the makings of gratitude jars. So that one, Stratford's next PA Day, I believe it's testing me now. I'm going to go with November 8th.
Okay.
It's somewhere, it's in November.
So every PA Day you try to have some
almost
sort
every
of,
PA Day.
Okay, I love that.
I believe there's 6 that I'm doing for this school year. Same for the Woodstock area. They have a different set of PA days, and the same list is up for them. Series 2 will roll out in fall after Halloween for the 2 age groups again. Mindful classroom presentations are up and going within the local school boards around here and surrounding school boards as well. And one-to-one sessions and family sessions are always available too. So
that's awesome.
There's lots of branches for whatever way kids or your family want to learn mindfulness. So
awesome. For people who are inquiring about more information, can they just go for your website or your Instagram? How will they reach out to you?
Everything's up on the website. It's mindfulkidsstratford.com. And social media wise, there is Mindful Kids Stratford Facebook page, and on Instagram the handle is at Mindful Kids Stratford. So there's always some behind the scenes stuff on Instagram and how that platform works, and the website and Facebook as well.
Awesome. And for anyone interested, I will also link that below in the bottom of the video so you can reach out to Melissa and ask any questions or what the program's like or how parents can get involved, school teachers, that sort of thing, because this is a huge, I personally foresee this moving forward and becoming more mainstream, I don't like that word, but mainstream in the schooling systems and with children, just because I see the need in my own babies that I have and with my friends' babies. I think it's so important what you're doing and giving them the tools to navigate life on a completely different level, or learning to just take that one step to be okay, I'm angry right now, maybe I shouldn't hit or kick or whatever. Or even parents, because I know when the children are feeding off of parents and the energy in the household. So if the energy in the household is very angry or violent, or there's a lot of tension because people are moving or stress at jobs, the children are picking up on that because they're so sensitive. And sometimes behavior can stem just from the household and what's coming off the parent, or if the parent's scared or whatever. So helping to teach the children how to recognize their emotion, I think will even trickle back to the parents as well. And that's totally what we talked about earlier, was that educational piece of the child teaching the parent.
I flip it. It's very true. As much as I do, energy kind of comes from both ways, and we can feel it from our kids when they kind of walk through that door at the end of the day, or after that hockey game, or kind of whatever it is in your everyday life. And I very much believe in the kids. They're our future, and when they leave with me, they are the experts in that mindful tool or practice that they have learned. And I always encourage them to go teach as many people in their household or peers or classmates, because A, it gets them more practice, and B, it spreads that positive way to kind of navigate life. It's life skills, and it's a lifestyle. So
that's so amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming and meeting with me today, or videoing this.
Thanks for having me.
I look forward to following more of your stuff on social media and reaching out even to like some of my clients and like where it might benefit them. Guys, I hope you have an amazing day and you get out and enjoy some of this nice weather that we're having. If you have any more information or questions or comments from Melissa, I will link everything below so you can reach out to her and her amazing program, or perhaps this is something that you can just do with your babies at home. All right, bye guys.